Hi friends, welcome back to our homestead. Today we are doing a garden edition, as in, what are we doing to get our garden in? Welcome to Ridgehaven Homestead. From the mountains of Upper East Tennessee, we share snippets of our off-grid life, cabin build, and garden blessings. Pour yourself a cup of tea, sit back, and take a peek into our off-grid home and family. I would have loved to have already had it in, but we've had some strange interruptions in our family and just had some interesting times. So we're getting it in now, kind of like better late than never. I don't feel like we're doing too badly. Anyway, I'm here. The plot behind me is about, I think we said 30 by 30 by 30 or something like that, and maybe 20 by 30. So this is an area that I'm working on getting stuff into currently. Adam rototilled it. We have, if you can see these areas with the rocks behind, in the past we've done raised beds over there. And I may clean those out this year to do it so that I have that space, because it's great to grow like cucumbers on the trellises and so forth. And we've sometimes grown potatoes there. But so far we haven't even cleaned those out. We just got this main area done. And then I have some terraces that I've been working on. I've actually been working this week really hard on them, and I'm feeling pretty good about them. There's nothing you can see so much except for a lot of sweat equity. I did go to one of our favorite greenhouses locally yesterday, and I picked up some garden plants because I said, well, I'm not going to be able to do it all in seed this year just because we're starting in mid-May. And so I got several different kinds of tomatoes that I'm going to be working on putting in. And I got some peppers and eggplants and different things. And so I'm kind of excited about that. But looking at my day, I'm kind of thinking I'm going to focus on other things besides planting these today. We'll have to see. I've given myself an hour. It's so easy to get caught up in doing things in the garden and seeing so many things that need to be done that I use a lot of time. So I'm giving myself an hour. My plan is to trim that grapevine over there. It's out of control. But I got this tomato plant at grocery outlet the week before last, and I don't know what kind it is. It did not tell me. I have several varieties here. I only got one kind of flower at the greenhouse, which is unusual, but it's this really beautiful, I don't even know what it's called. The man didn't know what it was called either. I'm sure his wife knew what it was, but he's the one who sold it to me. So I got a couple of different varieties of tomatoes. I think I got 8 different kinds. And one of them I was excited to find was an heirloom that hasn't been grown in this area for many years. And they decided to bring it back. An older lady gave them a tomato, and so they have saved seeds and they have grown those out. And that one is called the Manapal tomato. He says it's very good, a good slicer, heavy, you need to stake it. But he said it's really good for humid climates too, and we are definitely a humid climate. I think they actually developed that in Florida many years ago. They said it was popular in the 60s. So another variety that I got, which I was just kind of curious about, so I went ahead and got it. If I can find it here. They grow a lot of older varieties at this greenhouse that we go to, and they are older. It's an older couple. Okay, so the other one that I got that I thought was interesting is Dolly. And so I've looked that up, and it is indeed named after Dolly Parton, and it is claimed to have heavy fruits and very sweet. And so I look forward to seeing what that one is like as well. And then I got some of the ones that they generally grow, the Rutgers. I got the German Johnson. I got one that is the Golden Jubilee, which we've grown before. And then I got Aroma. And what else did I get here? Oh, wait a minute. I think I got 2 of the Manapal. Oh, I hope we like them. I didn't realize what I was doing. Oh, well, I got 2 packs of those. Oh, well, and then I got a Rutgers. Did I get 2 packs of the Rutgers also? That's what I get when I guess I'm distracted. German Johnson, Golden Jubilee. Oh well, I meant to get some other varieties, but I ended up 2 in 1. So we're gonna have 8 of Manapal. I hope we like it. I will let you know. I got some basil to give us a head start, and I even grabbed some cucumbers. They're already growing. These are pickling cucumbers, which I love. I planted some cucumbers this week, but these will have a couple weeks head start, which is something that I like. And what did I get here that has these little bitty tomatoes? Better Boy. Better Boy is pretty reliable. They're kind of small, so we're gonna have to catch up on those. And then I got a golden pepper and a regular eggplant. So I've watered those in. Here we go. I've watered those in, and I'm going to focus on doing some trimming and stuff like that, and then we'll see if I have any more of my hour at that point. Behind me is that wild grapevine. It's actually not a wild grape, but it is gone wild. Kind of gone rogue on us. It's spread all the way over to where I have a bird feeder hanging. You can't even see the bird feeder. So I'm chopping all that stuff off. To be honest, we've never gotten grapes off of this. I don't know if we need a pollinator or something. It's just crazy. I think we had a hummingbird nest in here the other week, and I have not heard the hummingbird since, so I'm afraid that one of my cats got it. I saw them climbing in there, and I didn't know why, and then I figured it out when I haven't seen the hummingbird since, and that makes me really sad because I love to see the hummingbirds, hoping that maybe he'll come back. Maybe I'm not right. So we'll do the before. That's the before, that wild beast, and I'll show you the after. It'll at least be a little more trim. This is going to take a minute, so while I'm trimming, let's back up in the week to some other projects that I was working on. It's that time of year where everything needs to be done in the garden, and for one reason or another, we have had either interruptions or just not getting around to it. So I came out here to work on planting some things in my garden, but of course now it's raining, so forecast shows 30 minutes. So I figured, you know what, 30 minutes I can do a few things in this greenhouse. It has been left through the winter. Lots of weeds have grown up in here. So until it stops raining, I'm going to see what I can do in this greenhouse to at least, small things, you don't have to just sit around and do nothing. So I'm going to make it my goal to do what I can for the next 30 minutes. As usual, I have some faithful companions. I have Buddy and Booger here. I think their mama is around here somewhere. There she is by the tomato plant. This is a tomato plant that we got at Costco. It is the only one that we have currently that is big, and it's in the greenhouse. It'll do pretty well. It's doing just fine so far. Pretty soon it'll get too hot in here. But so far it's having a head start because usually we have more out in the garden, but this year, this is all we have so far. Okay, I have tomato cages to clear out. I have maybe some of that wood to straighten up, and then just these weeds and buckets and things to straighten up. It's not a terrible mess, but it's just kind of a little bit jumbled up. See what I can do. We've actually been doing some behind the scenes preparation, but we had a couple setbacks over the spring months. So we're doing the best we can. My husband and I both actually got discouraged this year because many years we have planted gardens and the animals, the deer, the raccoons, the turkeys, they have freely partaken and we have not gotten as much as we planned. So we got a little bit discouraged, and then early in this month I just said, you know what, I really want a garden. It just means a lot to have those fresh things. So even though we got a late start, we're making it happen. I've been looking at some plans over the last little while of victory gardens. While I'm not planting a victory garden, I am trying to take some of the principles. I've been looking over some of the plans on the internet and some of the books that we have, thinking that the principle of the victory garden is one that I really like. It's taking a small space and using it to the maximum of your potential, and then putting a lot of things in there that will bring nourishment to your family. So they have like plans for a family of 5, for a family of 4, and they used victory gardens, especially during World War II, when they wanted to take the strain off of the government rations, and they wanted people not to be quite as dependent on the things that the government was giving out. Gave a lot more freedom to the people to have fresh things and to supplement their rations, and I just think it's a good idea all the way around. So as I've looked at some of the plans, I was really impressed. They would put the herbs and the flowers and the vegetables that have cool season and warm season rotating, and I just became kind of inspired. Now, I'm not really good at making plans for the garden. I'm more of a just poke it in and hope it works type person. But as I've been thinking about these principles, I've been trying to put some of those things into practice to just use our space wisely. Over the last couple days, I have been making we have this narrow garden here. I don't know if you can see behind me. I'll come over here. So this is a narrow terrace that we have that I have planted over the last couple days. And I've tried to not make it so crammed that we can't walk in it, but full enough so that we are using the space wisely. So I have put beans and herbs, and this is kind of like our salad garden, and some vegetables. So if I step up here and show you, you can see these tomato cages. I have 6 tomato cages behind me. These are ones that we made ourselves, kind of the big ones out of cattle panels. In each of these tomato cages, in each of the 4 closest to me, I have pole beans. 2 different kinds. I have like a Romano pole bean, and then I have a Kentucky Wonder, I think it is, pole bean, one of those 2. And then in the middle, I have either put like loose leaf lettuce or spinach, some type of green in the middle where I'm hoping will be shaded as the beans grow. And then in each of those, I put one big sunflower. And then in the ones over here, I have planted some corn. I figured, why don't we stick some corn in there? And these last 2 tomato cages are cucumbers. I'm really hoping to get some good cucumbers this year. We got some last year. They're so delicious, but last year I didn't get any dill growing. So I've kind of put dill here and there, and I'm just hoping for the best that it will grow and give us some good dill so we can make some pickles. They're so yummy out of the garden. In this area behind me, I've also made a tiny little area where I have some spinach and some salad greens, and then up on this terrace here on the side, before we get to the next level, just on the hill, I've planted some zucchini and some other kinds of summer squash, and even some like baby pumpkins. As we turn around and see the other part of this garden, we have a row of cilantro over here, and then we have some bunching onions. In keeping with the victory garden idea, I did plant 2 full rows of some type of small onions that we can use to season our food. I'm just trying to cut down on our trips to the grocery store. I don't know how successful I will be, but I'm just trying to think of things that we can do to stretch our food budget. In these next couple rows, we have, what do we have? I don't remember. I have planted a row of 4 different kinds of kale, and then some more loose leaf lettuce. And then these next couple rows, I have I have different kinds of basil, and I have to still cover all these up. I just left them here open so that I could see the rows. And then this last row, even though it is late in the season, I'm going to try my hand at doing some corn salad. And then at the end of this other row, we just have a few marigolds that I figured I would put on the edge. So this terrace I am done planting, except for when I cover up all the rows, and we have had a lot of rain this week, and we're hoping to get more so that it will water everything in. Up the hill we have another very narrow small terrace. I think it's about 6 feet wide and, I don't know, 25-30 feet long. So those tomato cages are going to be moved, and I am going to be putting some watermelon up there and cantaloupe and just let it tumble down the hill and kind of go wild. It's not a big area, but we're going to just let it spread out. Up above that, we have blackberries that are the tame blackberries that my husband drastically pruned, and we're just hoping that they will still do well. They had gotten really wild, so they needed to be trimmed back. We do have a larger garden space down closer to the house that I'm planning to fill with other things. We still haven't done any tomatoes. We normally start tomato seedlings indoors like in February, but my husband was just not only really busy, but just feeling kind of disheartened by it all, and he didn't get any started, and neither did I. We had different things going on, and that did not happen. And so we did pick up a couple of tomatoes here and there. I think I picked one up from Grocery Outlet. We picked one up from Costco, which is growing in the greenhouse, and it does have some small tomatoes on it. We will leave that in the greenhouse it'll do pretty good in the greenhouse. We've done that before. We just leave the doors open. And then we have one more small tomato plant down closer to the house. But because we like to preserve tomatoes, and that is like one of our favorite garden treats, we do plan to go to some of the local greenhouses and pick up some seedlings for eggplant, peppers, and tomatoes, just because we didn't get a head start on those. And I think that if we planted them now, we wouldn't have enough of a growing season. But we have so many varieties of seeds, and it's so sad to me to see how we're gonna have to wait till next year. So I just saw recently, when I watched a friend of mine, her video, she said she's poking seeds in the ground this week. So I thought, well, maybe that's a possibility. I could try a couple of each one to see if they grow and just not waste a lot of them. It is nice and warm outside, so who knows. So I think I'm done for the day, and I'm gonna be coming out tomorrow to do the melons up here. And then down in our other garden space, I'm not sure. I'd like to get some potatoes in and maybe some more green beans. And then I think my husband has some plans now that he sees me doing a few things. I think he's maybe going to give some suggestions. He's out of commission for the garden this summer, probably because of his injury. So I realized it was kind of up to me to make it happen. And that's okay. These last few days, I feel like have been a blessing because they have not been as hot. I don't do really well when it gets really hot, so I'm trying to get the things in, and then I'll just do the weeding like in the mornings and the evenings and try to maintain things as best I can. I'm trying to keep things simple and in control. Sometimes we get so gung-ho about the garden that we just plant way more than we should, and then we cannot maintain it. So the kids are working a lot, and my husband is usually tied up, so it's largely me. And then during the week, it's largely me who's home. But I would like to can some tomatoes. I'd like to do some different salsas and things. It's just the joy of doing those things that gives me a lot of satisfaction. So yeah, we didn't want to throw the towel in on the garden. So we're trying to just keep it under control and manageable, but still get that freshness. So I have a feeling once we go to the greenhouse, that we'll probably get kind of gung-ho when we see other things growing, but that's okay. Although it hardly looks like I'm doing anything, there were probably about 20 of those large tomato cages that needed transported out of the area that I needed to plant, and that took me a little while. In this area, we planted a little bit of watermelon, some cantaloupe, and some banana cantaloupe. I still have to get some more watermelon seeds. Sometimes it truly feels like this is my pace in the garden. This week we did have our first 2 echinacea flowers blooming. We have a lot of this yellow succulent and lots of roses, so there's things popping out right and left to encourage us. The next morning I was able to plant 2 rows of hickory king corn, so that'll be nice, and we're just going to hope that we can keep it from the raccoons. And another thing, if you wonder if I'm wearing the same thing every single day, I kind of am. Every time I go to the garden, I'm wearing the same skirt, and I have a couple of these shirts that I'm changing out, but it's my garden uniform. I'm just driving away from our favorite place to get plants locally. It's a little greenhouse system, kind of a ma and pop store. Not really a store, it's at their house. I drove a good little ways to get here because their greenhouses are just, I don't know, worth it to me to have some variety, and their prices are good. So I wasn't sure how many I was gonna get. I was telling myself I probably wouldn't get too many, but when I started looking at the varieties of tomatoes, my mouth started to water, and yeah, it was hard to show some restraint. So I ended up getting 14 4-packs of seeds, or of plants, seedlings, and that is pretty exciting to me because I've just been wanting some really good tomatoes. As I was driving the country roads back, I could not help but stop and take a picture of this cute little greenhouse. Randomly in the road said, "Self-serve greenhouse, come and get it." Most of my hour was actually spent doing the clipping on the grapevine, and I know that I basically just topped it like a tree. It's probably not the ideal thing for the grapevine, but it is under better control. We can access the blueberries under it, and I do feel better about that. So even though there are plenty of things, there's lots of things to plant, everywhere that I look, I see different things that I need to do, and I'm honestly feeling a little bit overwhelmed. My husband was in a car wreck last week, and he broke his sternum, and all the things that we had planned to do together, probably 2 or 3 months, he's not going to be able to do anything out in the garden except for smell the roses. And so I'm feeling a lot of that on me, feeling like if anything is going to happen, it's going to be me. And so yeah, actually sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming, so I'm trying to pace myself and not get completely overwhelmed, and just realize that there's going to be a lot of things that we don't get done this year, and that's okay. It's really okay, but a lot of times I kind of wish we could do the things that we've done in the past, and we have new circumstances, and so we're going to deal with those. But I did a lot of things this week. I planted these 2 terraces. I planted a couple rows of corn. I got some plants to put in the garden, and I'm looking around. Actually, I cleaned out the greenhouse too. I spent little amounts of time doing here and there, and I actually have it under control where when I go in there, it doesn't feel so messy. So those things are positive. So I do have things that I actually did, just not as many. It's like not everything, and so many times I'm harder on myself than I should be. But let me show you a few things. We have these purple flowers here that are blooming, and I don't remember what those are. There's some wildflowers that I dug up from up the hill, and I brought them down here. Right from where I'm sitting, we have these primroses. Where did they go? This one, it's closing now, but it's really pretty when it opens. And then right over here, we have another one that has just opened today, and I really love the bright yellow one. Some friends of ours gave these to us, and you see that there's a few other plants here. I'm hoping that the pink one will spread out eventually and kind of start to cover this little hill, but I'm really thankful for these. And then there's something else that I want to show you that I think will be an encouragement to you. So these are my grandmother's irises that we brought from North Dakota. My mom has some growing at her house, and I have some here. And then right beside it, can you see that rose hiding in there? I'm going to go clip it and bring it to put in the house because it's just really beautiful. This is the one and only bloom so far this year of a rose that Greg got me, many years ago. We transplanted it and brought it here, but it's looking so beautiful. There's a couple little love bugs in there. Here we have it. I can assure you, it is one of the most fragrant roses that I have smelled. It is absolutely heady. It's really beautiful. So it's a gift that keeps on giving. I want to say this bush is 10 years old. And I remember the circumstances of getting it every time I look at a rose. If you can remember what that grapevine looked like, it's a lot tamer. Do you see where that bird feeder is? That was all grapevine over there, and so we have cleaned it out. And now I have a cat who's trying to attack the flower. Well, I put the flower a little bit. What are you doing? I put the flower in there, and now she's trying to eat the compost that was in there. How about we leave the flower alone a little bit? Why don't we grab a few of these other pretty roses to go with the other one? And then I'm heading in. It's so humid out here. These will be nice to put in a vase. With the other one, it'll be quite nice. So thank you for coming along. I know this was a little bit here and there, and one of these times I'm going to take you through my herb gardens to show you what flowers are blooming. I hope that you have some things growing in your garden if you're planning that. I have heard this year that several of us have had a challenge getting our gardens going. So we're going to make it happen to the best of our ability. Keep trying, doing small things. Take the roses with the challenges. Keep your chin up. Plant something, even if it's one herb that can bring you some joy. And until next time, stay safe, be well, may God bless you. And don't forget to come back because I'll be showing you other parts of our garden as it gets growing. Have a good day.